Okay. Um, so as I was saying before, we had the network challenge. In 2003, we had the introduction to the web. Um, that was when WordPress actually came in. And then in 2005, 2004, MySpace was introduced. MySpace is sort of like a platform where people could communicate. In that same year, that's when Facebook actually launched. But Facebook was reserved for students, that's college students. So you would need a .edu email to be able to log in. So in 2006, Facebook then went public. It was launched in 2004, but that, as I said in earlier one, it was reserved for college students. Then in 2010, we had the introduction to responsive design, and then fast forward to 2020, we had the boost in website builders. So a website builder is it helps you build design website without you knowing how to code. So we have the examples of like Wix. You can also probably add, basically don't need to know how to write computer programming to learn any computer programming language to be able to um, build your website yourself. So that's when there was a boom in the website builder space because of the COVID. People were home, so they needed to create online presence and all that. So people started putting their tutorials online, sending the people were now sending their sessions online, training people online. So they have to have websites on themselves to be able to do that. Okay, so then normally when you come to the web development space, there are certain technologies that programmers or developers use. Um, so some of this, you need to understand some of these technologies to be able to know what they do and why you require them or why you need to know them. You don't need to know in depth of it. You just need to have a basic understanding of some of these technologies and what they're supposed to mean. The first is a URL. So a URL stands for Universal Resource Locator. So every resource on the internet has a URL. So for someone to be able to locate your website, the person needs to know the URL that he will use to visit your website. So for instance, the URL for Facebook is www.facebook.com. So every URL has three aspects. We have the protocol, the name. So the protocol, for instance, let's say is the URL HTTP or HTTPS. Then the name is maybe where they find that particular resources. So it's facebook.com.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Then we have domain registers. So just like how you have a business in the physical world, you need to register the name of your business with an organization. So just the same way, if you want to have your web presence online, you need to register the name with a registrar. So we have several domain registrars like Namecheap, GoDaddy, Name.com. There are several, a host of HostGator. These are all registered domain registrars that you can get a domain name for. So first of all, available, then you register it, and then it becomes yours. Then what you need next is a hosting space. So just like in the physical world where you have after you've registered your business name with the institution that's the institution that in your country that's responsible for doing that, you need to get a location for your business. So the next thing is to have a hosting provider where you can host your content. Okay, and then we have several hosting providers. Like the same way, most of the domain registrars double as hosting providers. So you can get a hosting space, whether it's a shared hosting, a VPN, which is a virtual private network, or whatever you want to use to host your website. That's where people can find your website online. So it now becomes an office space for your website online. So when someone types www.your domain name.com.org, then they are able to locate your resource. As I said earlier on, this is no more of a presentation um, meetup. It's more practical than it being a presentation. So the next thing is we are going to do a brief introduction to programming, which is an introduction to HTML and CSS. So HTML basically stands for hypertext markup language, and CSS stands for cascading style sheet. So if you understand, you need to first of all understand how these two work. So HTML displays it, help you display the text or the content of your website, and then CSS gives it some sort of design and responsiveness. Okay, so I'm going to stop sharing my screen and then share something else with you. Uh, okay, so okay, so if you want to know how to build a website for yourself, first of all, you need to understand. So in this phase, I'm going to show you how to write and probably build a basic, simple web page, and then we'll jump on to the main focus. Since, for instance, you're basically just a non-profit leader, and then you don't really need to know how to code. So there are website builders available for you to use, which will be our main focus. So let me just share that again. Okay, so to be able to build a website, you first of all need a text editor. So a text editor is basically where you write your CSS and then HTML codes in. So first of all, I'm going to share my browser now. So I show you how to do that. Okay. So as I said, maybe um, I want to be sure if you are seeing my screen because it looks like I can't see from my end. What can you see?
The browser.
Okay. Okay. So the next thing is, as I said, you need a text editor. So we are going to use. So you just open um, your browser and you Visual Studio Code. Search for Visual Studio Code. So this is
But
where
you can
you're going
also
to be
use
writing your.
Note. Okay. Can you also use Notes plus plus or Notepad plus or something? Can you also use that?
Saying something.
I was asking, can you also use Notepad plus?
Yeah, you can use we have Node plus plus, we have Sublime. So it depends on what.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you come and then you I will then you install it in your system depending on the operating system you're using.
Mhm.
So so then you download the version depending on what operating
Yeah.
system.
Yeah.
So I download it.
Sure.
I already have it installed on my system, so I don't need to install it again. So once it's down system, then you install it in your system. Then once it's installed, you can be able to open it. So then so once it's installed,
Actually, I didn't install one.
okay.
Okay. Yeah. Can continue.
Okay, let me know when you're done with the installation.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm done installing.
Okay, once you have installed and then so screen with you.
Hallelujah. Somebody come and worship with Nathaniel Basia. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come on, just give him praise. Just worship him, magnify his name. Somebody come and just worship him, give him praise. Sing, sing, sing with Nathaniel, sing with him, sing with him. Just bless the name of the Lord and give him glory. Worship him. Come on, somebody just worship him today. Just assume that you are the musician and you are the worshiper. Come on, sing with the man of God. Keep of my soul through all the ages, so changing. You are perfect in all of your ways. Hallelujah. 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 Your word is like fire in my bones. Your grace is like water to my soul. You make me wonder, wonder every day. Abba, Father, Father in heaven. Hallelujah. 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 Father, God of all, keeper and savior of my soul. Throughout the ages, changing. You are perfect in all of your ways. Hallelujah. 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 Your word is like fire in my bones. Your joy is like a river to my soul. You make me wonder every day. Abba, Father, Father in heaven. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Can you hear me? Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
I think I'm having some bit of network challenges.
Ah,
So,
okay.
all right. So, all right. So, if you already installed the Visual Studio Code, and then okay, I'm going to share my screen again. Okay. I think I have. Okay, can you see my screen?
No. Okay, I think yeah,
Okay.
can see it now. Yeah.
So, all right. So once you've installed the Visual Studio Code, um, I'm going to just do an introduction to the HTML and CSS, and then I'll show you how to be able to build just a single website and how to write some codes. So HTML, as I said earlier on, means hypertext markup language. So it kind of displays the text that you or the content of your website on a web page. So first, we'll create a file, inside our folder, a folder inside your directory where you or whatever directory where you want to put want to write your website. So okay, I think I should show you how first before I share my screen. I do this. Okay, I think I'm going to my display first. Okay. Can you hello?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Quite don't understand why there is an issue with my network today. It's that's my screen.
No.
What about now?
No. I can see a screen, but it's like a black screen with what do you call it? Yeah.
Okay, I think if I share the entire screen, it's going to share a single. I wanted to share the entire screen so that I have to go in different. Okay, so as I was saying, what about now?
Yeah, now I can see something. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I just created this folder. So first of all, you need to create a folder computer, whether or on any of your drives on your computer. So after you created that folder, you can then probably open folder on command line if you are more technical. Just open this folder with depending on the operating system you are using. Click on the folder, you should be able to open it in your terminal or using the Visual Studio Code that you've installed. So for me, since I'm on Mac, I can open this folder on my terminal. Or another alternative is to just open a folder inside the code. So I have to stop sharing it, then share my just to the code screen. No. I wanted to share the entire screen, so I don't have to. Okay, let me work now. Yeah, I think I can see it now, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's great. You can then open the folder on. Let me just to bring that in here. Okay, so inside your Visual Studio Code, depending on the operating system you're using. If you're on Mac, you can open it in your terminal, or on Windows, you're able to open it with Visual Studio Code. Okay, so once I open on your terminal, you can just type code dot, then you enter, then it opens the Visual Studio Code just installed. Since you have that app, it's close. You have to create a file where people can, where you write in your code. So the content of that file is what we'll see when they visit your website on the web. If you have to host your website on a domain, that's based on what we said earlier on. If you buy a hosting package and then you buy a domain from a domain registrar, they provide you credentials on how to host your website. So I'm going to create a file and I'm going to call it index.html. So inside this, um, yes. So let's wait for that to create for a few minutes. Now, as I said, this is where you write your HTML code. So when you want to learn more about HTML, CSS, and stuff, there are a host of online sites that you can actually go and then learn that. But technically, what I want to introduce in this tutorial is just the basic. Our main focus will be using a template builder, using WordPress to build a website. So I just want to you can understand and appreciate what goes on behind the scene. It's really slow. Okay. Something is still running in the background. Okay, so your HTML um, is made up of tags. So we have HTML tags and then we have attributes. So just like how you have in a web editor, you have H1 tags that displays very bold text, H2 up to all the way down to H6 tags. We have um, paragraph tags, we have um, italics and all that. So the same thing, a website is made up of pages. So when you look at a basic website, we have the navigation bar, which is sort of like the header. Then we have maybe a carousel section. Then we have a carousel section. Then we have your content, your sidebars, and then your footer. The screen is far from me, so let me just bring this. Can you see my screen still?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what I have here is basically a basic um, web page. So um, we have every website, which is an HTML site, is made up of the first line is document type, then HTML tag. So when you write, as I said, HTML, the tags are enclosed in greater than and then less than symbols. When you study tag, we have um, a backslash, then the HTML, the tag name. So um, so we have this as document type. Then with the HTML tag, you notice that this is the closing tag. Whenever you highlight the opening tag, you see the closing tag highlighted. And then the language attribute is English. Then we have the head tag. So the head tag are the content within the head tag are the items that are probably the metadata, the title of the page. The title here is what actually appears inside your uh, browser tab. So let me see if I could reshare these and then open it. Okay. So um, so as I was explaining, we have a title tag. This is what actually appears in your browser tab. So let's go back to where we open this file actually, and then open this file in the browser. So you notice that when you open the file, it's that it identifies as an HTML file. Then open it with my choice. So I'm going to use. So you notice that I've opened the browser, and then you notice in the tab there is 8 index.html. This is because I've actually not saved this file. So if I'm to save this file, the title, the contents of the title will now appear inside the tab bar. So if I'm to refresh this page, I have that. So you can change this to maybe the name of your website or where the person actually is. So I would say probably this is STEM Rising Foundation. I would say this is our home. So when you see something in a website or a browser tab, this is what actually goes behind the scene to just display that particular item in there. So you have to go back to the browser and then refresh. I can see that to what I now display in there. Okay, so now that we have a body tag. So just like we have a body tag. So the body tag is actually what goes inside the web browser. So over there, we can say, okay, I want to have a header, one text. So there on every, we have H1, H2, H3 up to H6. So every tag has a closing and then that's greater than and less than. So the H1 has a closing tag. So the beginning is like the H1 is the opening is the beginning. So it tells the browser, okay, when I visit this code, the content inside H1. So let's say hello world. This TechSoup connects. So you can now go back to your browser and then refresh. So you now have hello world. This is TechSoup Connect. So this becomes a content on your website. As I said, you will need CSS to go to display the style. So you're not going to go in depth on this since this is not a programming class. So you can do several things. You can do an so we are live. So we are live. So actually, the first website that we had, as from the base presentation that we had at the how the website looked like. The first website that came up, it was just HTML pages. There were no styles. So let's do a little bit of CSS, and then we jump into the WordPress. So you can play around the remaining there are so many tags. um, we have a paragraph tag that displays content in the paragraph. So I have a paragraph, and that becomes a content. Then, okay, before I go to the CSS, you can also write inline style inside the tag. So we call it attributes. So let's say I want to make this paragraph text. Let's do it for the H1. Let's say I want to make this. Once you add these attributes, you can now add um, values inside. Let's say I want the color of the text. I want the color of the text to be, let's say, blue. So I save this. If I'm to go back to my browser and save this, the color of our H1 tag now becomes blue.
Yeah.
So you can play around the styles. You can change the font size. So I want a bit bigger. So let me see if I'll make it font size. I'll set the font size to, so you see that it gives you options. So we have large, larger. You can actually set a particular value. Let's say 500. This is very huge. Just to see how it looks. If you have to resave it, you notice that your font size becomes so huge. Okay, so let's make it something smaller so that. Okay, so we've made a text a bit bigger. Then the next thing we will do is we'll create a new file inside and call it our style. So style. So style sheets have extension CSS, and then HTML files have extension .html.
Yeah.
So inside this file, you can write all your style sheets. You can write all your maybe the color that we're able to set in there. You can actually set that color over here and assign what we call classes and then IDs. Okay, so let's say we have a class. So a class is specified that by the hash sign. Then I'll call this, let's say, uh, heading. So over there, I can be able to assign various attributes. So I can set color to red. I can set the font size. My screen is a bit far from me, so font size. Let me just extend this, make it bigger. Click of it. Still. Font size. to, let's say, 30, then close it. You can do several, add several styles. So now that you have that, you'd have to assign this class variable heading to um, as an attribute the h1 tag. So I'm going to call this class, and then what I added there becomes what heading. And then I now remove this inline style, this the style I did on this. Okay, I think I've okay. So we have that, and now that you've assigned that class to this h1 tag, you need to reference your style sheet inside your HTML file so that it knows that okay, you're actually calling this particular file inside. So I think I can't really see. I need to use it. Let me share single screen. Can you still see my screen?
No.
Then what's happening? Okay, I think my so you still can't see my screen.
No. Yeah, can see now.
Okay, so okay, so as I was saying, now that you've added um, this class inside your added it to your H1 tag, it needs to know where it's coming from because it doesn't have it inside this file. It's a different file altogether, which is here. Okay, I think this was far from me, so it's color. Font size. My screen was a bit far from me earlier on. Okay, so now you need to reference your style sheet inside your HTML file. So we have um, the it's a style sheet, then the href tab, which is where is it located? It's style.css.
Yeah.
The location might be different depending on where you place this.
Right.
If you had created a new, let's say if I created a new folder, let's say CSS, and I've placed this my style sheet inside, um, I wouldn't have used this style.css reference.
Mm.
So if you have to save these, and then you have to also save your style sheet, you go back to the browser. You can see my browser, right?
No.
Okay, I think I need to. If I share my entire screen, my screen goes far behind, so I can't see. Okay, I think for example, I can share the entire screen so that since it's just a browser. So okay, okay. Since my screen was a bit far from me earlier on, my text were not really readable. Okay, so you notice that there was something wrong here when I deleted the H1 tag. It automatically closed it, so I need to remove this from here because it's already been closed
Ah, yeah,
when you
yeah.
highlight it here. So let me share the browser now. Can you see the browser?
No. Yes, yes.
Okay, so there. Okay, so I think yeah, so that's it. So you can be able to reference your style sheets in here. I think I still have something not done properly, which I'm unable to identify. Uh, my display is gone off again.
Yes.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Oh, okay, so as I said earlier on, we have an ID here. We are referencing it as I think uh, as a class here. So that's why it wasn't working. So it has to be an ID. If it's a class, it has to be a dot. So if you have a class, so let's say you have another class heading two. So when you go to your style sheet, um, this is an ID, which has, and
Mm.
then a class will have a dot. So let's see that. I hope you can see my screen.
Yeah.
Okay, let me make this blue so that you see the difference. Uh, so you can to remove the class for now, or I can actually duplicate this so that I just display or then move on to the next thing. So I'll remove this from here and I'll call this hello world. This is text soup. Um, let's call this text soup plus this an ID. So I'm just showing you how to use the ID and then the class.
Mm.
Okay. Can you see my browser?
Mm.
Yes. Still,
Yeah. Okay, I can see now.
so you have to refresh. Now it works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think let's jump off this and then um, focus on the other one, which is the website development using WordPress. So I think I'm going to share my browser with you now. Uh, so let me see what I've put it to. Okay, so is my display working now?
The screen? You mean the screen
Yes,
sharing?
please. Yes, yeah.
No, no.
Just a moment. Okay, so the last item on our presentation is um, building website using WordPress. So I'm going to quickly share. So I'm going to quickly share my browser. You should be seeing it by now. So what, as we said earlier on, you need um, a domain name and then a web server. So if you are new to that, you probably have to get one from maybe, let's say you're buying from Namecheap. So first of all, come here and search for the domain name you want. So let's say we are using Horizon Foundation. So you search for it. Okay, so you notice it says that it's already registered. So you can actually, so once you come here and the name is available, you can actually add it to the cart, then check out. You come back and then you choose. It's working again. The hosting package. Namecheap has several different hosting packages. So we have shared hosting, and then so for a basic website for a non-profit, a shared hosting package should be as simple as that. So you could get a shared hosting for 1.58 a month. Depending on how complex your project is, you can decide to go for the popular version or the Stellar Business one. So once you buy those two, they'll provide you with credentials where you can, that allows you to use what we call the cPanel. So I'm going to a Namecheap account. So once you come here, you can go to find your domain name and then the hosting package. Then you go to the cPanel. So this is how your cPanel probably look like. You don't really need a developer to understand how things are around here. So your website files are inside your file manager. Your database is here. Your domains, add-on domains that you add onto this server are here. You have what you're going to focus is it's WordPress. So basically, go and look for. So the cPanel and Namecheap already provides you an easy way to just install it without you doing manual for that. So open this in new tab. I think we have to be a bit fast. We have just 20 minutes.
Okay.
So install now. So you select your domain name. So let's look for System Rising Foundation. And what version of WordPress are you installing? 5.72. Then the credentials are in here. You set your username and password that you will use to log in to your blog. So you'd have to save this credentials somewhere. So you copy your admin, you give it a different name. It's advisable not to use admin. You should use some other name because when you use admin, it becomes easier for people to guess your username, and then what they'll need is to just use a brute force approach to just override your password or log you out of your website. Okay, so let's use something like this, and then once installing, you can actually install a theme automatically. So automatically, and then you edit it. So there are several templates that you can go through, depending on what you want to do. So you can be able to have several different. So let's say you are going in for this one. So this is how it looks like. So you don't need a developer to be able to find your way around this. Then you tell them to send you the installation credentials. So let's say I'm going to use an email address, and then the credentials we send to email address. Then I might have to copy my password and this thing up somewhere. Then I install it. So let's wait for that to get done. Okay, so as once we have that, so you see, congratulations, the software was installed. So you have two options where you can log in as administrator to manage your website into the content management system, and also what visitors see when they visit your website. So this is what visitors see when they visit our website to see how it looks like. So technically, you have a website running. Notice that the images that we saw there are not actually there, so you have to replace them with your own images. Then we can now log into that main URL by clicking this. So this becomes your admin dashboard where you manage your website, post your posts, add media libraries, images, and then if you want to change your theme, you can change it here. So when it comes to, let's say, themes, so currently this is a theme we have activated. You can change it to something else or add a different one. Sometimes you could buy a template from another place that you want to install in here. And also already there are a host of free templates you could use, like thousands of free WordPress templates that you could use. Depending on what your needs, you can just search for what you want. You can be able to search for a team name, it's available. And then most of these things advanced or pro versions which you have to pay. They can actually go to let's say show you that now a theme that you can bring in and use. So let's say theme for it. For it, you can be able to search for several different WordPress themes that you can use depending on what you want to do. Is it a website, an e-commerce template, whatever you want, then you have here. So we can go there and search for templates and then you purchase it and then you come and install it. So you have it with $19 depending on what you want to do. So you can come here and search for, let's say, non-profit WordPress thing. You can see several charity organization templates that you can use. So maybe you're into green, this maybe this is what you prefer. You can use. There are several different templates. Just use and then modify. So this is $15. So you can preview it and then you make purchase if you want. This is what you want. Then if you purchase this, you'll be given a file that you'd have to install onto your WordPress theme. So once you install this template and then you install the demo content, you have it looking like this. Then get unique content. So I'm going to go back to adding. So when you click upload theme, you can actually be able to upload the theme that you actually installed or downloaded from the template for it, or the theme for it. And then once it's installed, you activate it by changing what you've already activated here. Okay, so then your so over here, fetch this. We have 4 minutes more. So when you click on the customize, you should have a visual interface to be able to edit what you have here, add navigations, add menu items.
Mm-hmm.
I think because my network is slow, we'd have to um, wrap this. So if you want to add additional menu items, so you have another appearance site tab, you have menu items. So if I click on that, I should be able to add new menu items. Currently, you notice that you have your home, your blog, your
Contact.
about us, contact events, but this is what you are seeing, new ones, depending on what you want on your website. Okay, so I think that is it. So you can be able to edit a lot of things. So we can actually play around this. So what last thing I want to show you is how to add posts or blog posts. So currently, notice that there are this post in there. You can create new one. So let's go and see what they have there. So when I come to blogs, when I come to blogs, there are several different blogs in here. So you can add a new one. So let me say I just want to add a new blog, or probably remove the old one. So this is more visual. So you just have to edit content to match your brand image.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's see, the title of our blog is Hello World. This is Hello World. This is Text Soup Connect chapters. When you click on publish, it actually saves it and then it publishes it.
Yeah.
So you have to and then refresh your site. You should now see the blog you just created. So you can now add content to that particular blog. When you come to the sidebar, you can be able to edit, assign it a category, add tags, and then upload a featured image. So the featured image is what actually shows here. Yeah, so you upload a featured image. You notice there's nothing in here.
Yeah.
Upload an image. Um,
Hey.
okay, so I have uploaded this image and then you can edit the names and everything here before you set it. So, or update your, you come back here. That image should now display here. And then when you click on it, it should actually show you that particular block and then the content you add to it. So people can actually add. Yeah, so basically what we have for today's session. If you have any questions, 9 minutes to take questions, then we wrap up.
Yeah, it's a very good presentation, and especially um, with the HTML and CSS. But I mean, it was a very brief one for that, and since that is not the main focus of the presentation today, and also with the website creation and all those kind of things, was also a great one. Yeah. Mm.
Okay, so I think we are
I think
done. If
no
you don't,
there's not really any question for me. Yeah, because yeah.
okay, so we still have 5 minutes. You can just do introductions since we didn't do introductions before we started. So you tell us and what your non-profit organization does.
Okay. So my name is Elisha Jomaba, and I'm in the Netherlands currently. I recently completed my master's education, and then I'm now part of a non-profit organization in the Netherlands here, which is called the Neverlack Foundation, and it is a non-profit organization, but our main target area is in Ghana. So we are working in Ghana, specifically the northern region of Ghana, where we are trying to look at how to improve the livelihoods of children in Ghana in terms of education. And, some of the
Okay,
things we want to do is to support them with study materials as well as other forms of livelihoods. Yeah. So that is
okay,
basically what we do as a Neverla Foundation. Yeah.
okay. So the name of the organization is Never Lack Foundation.
Yes, Neverla Foundation.
Okay, all right. All right. Thanks for joining us. Joining our meetup today. We hope, or I hope you've learned something new
Yeah. Yeah.
or added something to some
Yeah.
what you already know.
Thanks for having me too.
All right. Thank you very much.
Great. Bye bye.